question I always think about is that nowadays, and I don't know if this was Param Pujya Gurudev's time as well, this was especially during freedom fighting time or something like that. Why should we feel obliged, or do we feel obliged to describe our philosophy and our spirituality in this quote unquote scientific method that has been invented in the West? Has it been,
No, no,
or is it what is that makes us feel we should experiment, observe, and you know, as opposed to what we were doing before, what maybe
no.
Rishi Vishwamitra was doing or
Hmm.
Vashishtaji was doing, so.
Oh, what exactly the present method of scientific knowledge is almost since many, many yugas also.
It's the same.
Because,
Uh-huh,
same,
uh-huh.
because when we talk about Vishwamitra and Vasishta, we talk them as mantra drashta,
Uh-huh.
who observed.
Right.
So observation is basically the first scientific aspect.
Perfect.
Because when Newton observes a apple falling, I don't know how real that story is, of course.
Yeah.
But anyway, it suits our purpose. So, when the apple is falling, many people see, but few people observe. And one who observes gets the law. So, actually, the modern science has started utilizing our spiritual laws and approach to matter. And unfortunately, we've forgotten its approach to spiritualism. So, what we should do is that the scientific effort, especially in the scientific effort, the correction what Param Puja Gurudev always used to do it is, my children, when you read Newton's laws, but you don't know anything about Newton, you read Einstein's laws, but you don't know anything about Einstein. So we are, but he was born somewhere and he has got his own religious aspects and his other personal physical lives and his interests are different. But when you are reading science, you are not worried about the man, you are worried about the law he has given. Similarly, when we call that Hinduism, when we call it the Sanatana Dharma, and the Hindu Dharma, we are not saying that it belonged only to the Hindu cult. It is the Bharatiyas who has discovered it for the first time. So just as the gravitational law is always honored by the quotation as the Newton's law, we say as the Bharatiya mantra. But Bharatiya mantra has nothing to do with the mantra. Mantra is universal.
So
So
this.
this aspect we have to stress. So when we call about Hindu Dharma, we are not talking about any religion. And when we are not talking any religion is the best guarantees that we say Vedas are apaurishayas. And apaurishaya, whenever we talk about some religions, Jainism or Sikhism or other isms, there is a personality behind it. I'm not criticizing anything. Anything that is good is good. Don't doubt about it. In Newton's law is great because he is talking about the what we say the gravitational force. But how that apaurishaya aspect, that the universal aspect, it is not the people but the universal powers that we are being discussed, that knowledge, the Vedas, is the proof that Hindus have more scientific in approach, where the total knowledge of all the mantradrashta is groomed there. And though we have so many chemists, we never say that chemistry belongs to them. That's it.
Do you think that if you look at what these wonderful sages have accomplished, that their power of observation was much keener?
Very keen.
And what has happened that we have lost that ability? It seems like it again, unlike
Naturally.
Param Pujya Gurudev, that we don't have that ability to observe ourself. I guess we find it easy to maybe observe some test tubes and so I'd love to hear what happened.
Now, what
Where did it happen?
exactly the Sanatana Dharma? Again, when I say the Sanatana Dharma or Hindu Dharma, let me always repeat, I am talking about the universal.
Right.
All these scientific discoveries, sometimes when I look at it, and somewhere I read about it also, I don't remember the author, He said that all machines and instruments have been developed basing its presence in the human body. For example, a camera, the eye, the telephone, the ear.
How true, how true.
So many aspects. And the computer, of course,
The brain, yeah.
the brain. And all of us accept that the most sophisticated computer, you cannot even touch a part of the brain's computer system. So what the spiritual saints or the rishis or sages used to do is, instead of trying to get something mechanical to increase or decrease the sight, for example, the microscope is able to see the small things in a big way, and the telescope you can see something very far, very near. They say that anima and mahima, there are two types of possibilities of molding your powers. Anima, you can see the small one. Anima means small. Mahima means the big thing. So if you can change your consciousness so that your ability to see the finer ones becomes modified, you don't need microscope. So this is what exactly Guruji used to tell us. Ashta siddhi navanidhi ke data, sab samardha gayatri mata.
Oh,
And of course, for Hanuman we call it Aswar Dini Janaki Mata. It is one and the same thing. Hanuman is also using that small thing, becoming a small insect and going into the Surasa's mouth and expands his body before entering into the Surasa's mouth. Anima Mahima.
so you think really there is that capacity?
There is that capacity.
That has
There
to
is
be-
the capacity.
I see. So that is real. It's not.
Now, what I, no, just if you can accept that the machines are being developed basing on our
Ah, so then we
parts,
can,
naturally it should work like that.
This-
And it works like that also. You see this letter,
yeah.
not with letter like
Yeah.
this. And you can see something long. What is happening? It is a microscope and that is telescope. At the same time, you are able to utilize the eyes.
Right.
So similarly, there are 8 types of siddhis. And then 9 types of treasures which you can get from nature. And this Param Puja Gurudev says that I have seen it. He has demonstrated these powers. And many times in his life, if you go through his what we call my legacy about his autobiography, he used, huh?
My legacy and my message.
My message, not my message, my will. वो कहते थे कि हमारा वसीयत और हमारा विरासत. He gives that proof where he has done these miracles, and he always used to tell us. And in my own experience, of course, I can't talk about his, but it is a fact. Especially when healing people and this, certainly we find a difference when we seek his blessings and take medicine. And of course, it is a personal experience. You just can't say. But I have those experiences.
That's, I mean,
Hmm.
finally, that's a scientific method,
Method.
right? If you have the experience, that's the truth, right? So, what is the ultimate goal of gaining a human body then?
Ah.